Welcome to Indiana Family Forum. This is Micah Clark, the director of the American Family Association. I just want to give an update since we're in the middle of the Indiana legislative session. As you know, bills go through three steps: committee process, amendment process, final vote, and then they switch houses. And that's where we are right now. We've gone through those first three steps of the committee vote, the amendment process, and the final vote. If a bill has not made all three of those steps, it is technically dead. So of the 12 to 1400 bills filed this session, only about 400 or so are still alive, and only about 200 of those will finally make it to the governor's desk for his signature. So we have a process that whittles away a lot of bills, and there were a lot of bills we were watching that have failed, and that's good in some cases, and of course it's bad in some others. There's some that we wanted to have move through the process, but I want to update you at least on three today real quickly that we've been watching very closely. The first one's getting a lot of media headlines. That's Senate Bill 418. Senate Bill 418 is the hate crime bill that we have seen come up again. In fact, the very first bill I ever testified on in 1991 was a hate crime bill. So this is an issue that's been around for a lot of states for many, many years. In fact, you'll read in the newspaper that Indiana is one of only 5 states without a hate crime law. That's not really true, but the media likes to say that a lot because they are trying to shame us into passing a hate crime law. What is true is this: Indiana judges since 2003 have had the ability to enhance a sentence for any crime for any victim if they deem it helpful. So that's number one. Judges have this ability already. Hate crimes laws are not necessary. Number two, hate crime actions have been illegal for decades in Indiana, if not a century. It's illegal to commit vandalism, to commit other crimes. What makes hate crimes unique is the motive or the thought or the speech behind the crime. That issue alone makes something a hate crime. So we were concerned about what this sends us down as far as a path to send us down a path towards allowing the government to prosecute speech or thoughts or mindsets. And I don't know we want the government doing that. What's interesting too is many of the states with the worst hate crime problems in America have had hate crimes for a long time, hate crime laws. So we question whether or not this law is necessary, whether or not it's effective, and it also whether or not it ties the hands of judges. You say, well, how would that happen? This is a sentencing law. As I mentioned, in Indiana, judges already have the ability to enhance a sentence for a crime based on immense hate or targeting of an individual if they believe that's necessary to help any victim. What this bill actually does would give the judges a list to only be able to enhance a crime if it's based on a victim's race, gender, sexual orientation, or sexual identity, and gender identity. And that is what this law is really about. It's a political law. It's not a criminal law. It's not about equal justice under the law, which is inscribed in stone above the Supreme Court. It's more about politics and making a statement and doing something political. But we're concerned that this could harm religious freedom, freedom of speech, and it's not necessary. Good laws are not abused. Hate crimes laws have a lot of hoaxes. And there have been people who've been punished for hate crime laws simply who were nonviolent, simply because of speech, particularly religious speech. In Europe, we've seen that happen. In England, in Canada, even in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, we know almost a dozen people were arrested one time simply for passing out religious literature, and they were charged with a hate crime that would have enhanced their sentence 47 years for a nonviolent offense. So we're concerned about hate crime laws being misused. Second of all, Senate Bill 65 passed the Senate. Senate Bill 418 died in committee. We had a lot of people call legislators. You may have been one of them. I want to thank you for that. Last week, this bill failed to get a vote and was withdrawn. So Senate Bill 418, hate crimes law, was defeated again this year. Senate Bill 65 is a law that wasn't defeated yet. It's passed the Senate with 37 votes, or 74%, 84% support among the Senate. What Senate Bill 65 does is it gives parents a right to know about sex education in the schools before the curriculum is given or before instruction occurs. It requires a school to inform a parent before subjects of human sexuality, homosexuality, or gender identity are brought up in the classroom. It's a parent's right to know bill. It doesn't tell the school what they can or can't teach. It doesn't tell them what they should teach. It simply says whatever you teach, if anything, you need to inform parents beforehand. As it turns out today, parents are allowed to opt out, but oftentimes they don't find out about something until after it's occurred, until their child comes home and tells the parents, this is what we were taught in class today. This would give parents the advance notice and advance knowledge of what's being taught in their school. We think that's a good thing. Another bill is Senate Bill 203 that's going over to the House as well because it passed the Senate. It's an enhancement of the feticide law. In Indiana, it's a crime to kill a baby of a pregnant mom if in the commission of a crime the mom is injured and the baby dies, or the mom is killed and the baby died. We have instances where people were victims of a drive-by shooting or a bank robbery, and the victim was pregnant and the baby died. This expands that law because currently a criminal can only be charged with murder of an unborn child if the baby is 20 weeks along or farther. This removes that to say, and that's our viability statute in Indiana. This removes that in the case of feticide to say if the child was killed before then, they can be charged with that crime of killing that baby in the commission of a crime. So we believe it's a good law. That's Senate Bill 203 that is moving through. Some other issues that have not moved through and that we're kind of thankful for in some ways. The effort to lower compulsory school age attendance to 5 was not voted on. We had some concerns about what that would do with homeschool parents or with parents who choose to hold their child out of kindergarten until they feel like they're ready. We felt like this law intruded on parental rights. Another bill that was not voted on was a bill that would limit or prohibit tolling of roads on I-465 around Indianapolis. Senator Mike Delph had that bill. They did not vote on that because they believe that that's not necessary, but we'll see. The Indiana Department of Transportation is considering tolling in a lot of places, and we're concerned about the impact that would have on families and their budgets. So just something we were watching. That bill did not pass. So that's kind of the update on 5 different issues. At this midway point, continue to stay in touch with us through our website at afain.net and our email. Please sign up for our weekly email. I will update you on things in the legislature each week at www.afain.net. On the upper right-hand side of the page is a sign-up link where you can sign up for our weekly email. It comes directly from me. I write that each week. Very popular item with our followers. So sign up for our weekly email at afain.net. Until then, thank you for joining us with Indiana Family Forum. I'm Micah Clark, the director of AFA, and thank you for your support.